What is up, guys? Coming at you live. I hope my microphone is working this time. Unfortunately, I just had to delete an entire live video feed because my mic apparently did not grab any audio. And I wish there was a way to know for sure if I'm getting the audio to come through. I think it is now. Good deal. Okay, let's get into it. Reboot 2.0. What am I looking at today? Looking at this guy. I don't know if the camera can see that. It is John Varvatos, or Varvatos, however you want to say it. I think it's pronounced Varvatos. I think it's Greek. I guess that's a picture of the guy. If it's not, it's some sexy male model with long hair, but I'm assuming that's John. This is the original Le Parfum pour Homme. And that's a lineup there. Da, 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 da. This is an EDT, Eau de Toilette. I don't believe he makes any Le Parfum concentrations or perfume. Could be wrong. Of course, the oud in here, I don't know if that's EDT or not, but no, this is a perfume strength. Yeah, this guy definitely is Eau de Parfum. Very strong, great longevity, unlike most of John's fragrances, which do not have great longevity, but we'll get into that later. Firstly, let's get into the notes and when this fragrance dropped. And that was 2004. So we were coming up on 15-year-old fragrance, especially in terms of it was probably designed in mid 03 or late 03 at the latest. What are you going to get in this fragrance? You're going to get, and by the way, thank you, shout out to Mark Robes 08, Mark out of Canada. Please watch his show, guys, if you haven't. Phenomenal guy, phenomenal channel. Awesome. Many consider him the godfather of fragrance reviewers in the frag community. He started it way back when. And I will say this, there have been some haters out there, or some detractors, however you want to say it, some critics, to put it more politically correct in a nicer tone. And to be fair, not all critics are haters. I think that's more than fair. Who have made statements recently along the lines that Mark is full of himself and that Mark is not the only one who started it, and that Mark is not the original reviewer and he's not the only old guy. All of that may be true, but I can tell you one thing factually, guys. He's one of the only ones left from that era back when he started. So yeah, he's pretty much the only one left that started that long ago. That is also that successful. If you can point me to anyone that's as successful or more than successful than him that started either when he started or before, please give me a link, and you better provide proof, because he said, she said, we said, Daddy ain't buying any of that. Anyways, mini rant over. Let's get into the notes. You're going to get, oh, and by the way, my reason for bringing Mark up is because two reasons. He has long had a problem with Varvatos' line. You can watch his reviews if you want to find out why. I'm not going to reiterate all that, but his main pet peeve, mine as well, not just about John's line, but about all fragrances in general, is longevity. And Mark has found that Varvatos, most of his frags just don't have great longevity. They just don't. But we'll get into this one here. This dropped in 04. One of the main other noses on this was Rodrigo Flores Rue. Very famous. He's done a ton of stuff in fragrance design. Phenomenal nose. This here has one of Mark's most favorite, maybe his most favorite note in all of perfume, and that would be the note of fig. Yes, fig. This has a double dose of fig. This has fig leaf and fig fruit. Then you're going to get some of the herbal spicy from the coriander and the clary sage, leather, lime, plum, and then it has cinnamon, pepper, and then we get into our woody accords of cedar and sandalwood. And if that sounds like a really good blend, it is, at least on paper. And it's funny to me that some of these types of blends are really, really similar to couture niche houses like Creed. They often will put notes of cinnamon and leather. They love lime. They love coconut. They like clary sage. They like sandalwood and so on and so forth. So you see a lot of these types of recipes in really, really high line perfume and cologne. I already sprayed this on a couple times. And I find that the opening is a bit synthetic, just a little bit artificial, but that's common at this. Well, this didn't drop as a budget frag when it initially dropped back in 2004, a 100 mils bottle, I think 100 mils or 120, whatever they measure, retailed honestly for about $120, both at Sephora and like Lord and Taylor's and Barney's and places like wherever it is that they carry the more expensive stores would usually end up charging more, obviously, because they can and they do. In reality, I really only see bottles like this down the road worth about $40 to $50, if that makes any kind of sense. Because if you pay more than that, you're really, really only paying for the time advantage, and you're paying for the name, and you're just paying a huge premium because you want it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like me going out and buying a new Porsche 911. Let's say the entry level model, the new 911 base, or the one right above that, the newer one that's making all the headwaves is the 911T. The T does not stand for turbo; it stands for touring. And what it is, the 911T is kind of a stripped out, almost like a semi-fake poor man's GT3. That's pretty much what it is. And I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's pretty darn great, but you get skinnier wheels and tires, and I think it maybe rides just a little bit higher than the GT3. Certainly way down on power, but it also has the thin glass in the back, and it has the little door pulls that are cloth. That vehicle has turbos. It's turbocharged, so you can easily chip it for about maybe, let's say, $2,000. For $2,000 roughly or less, you can give it a microchip tuning that will give that car literally about 500 horsepower and about 450 to 480 pounds of torque. Now, at those power levels, I'm guessing you would probably leave a GT3 for dead. You would just blow it out of the water on the highway. How could it possibly keep up on a highway? It probably, I'm sure it could not. But anyways, how did I get off on the Porsches and cars? The point is, I can go buy a used 911, really good condition, not an old one. Let's say a 2009, 2008, right in that range. I can get a relatively low mile version of that for about between 35 and 40,000 easily, thereby saving myself anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 easily. There are many cases where if you buy just a little bit newer and you get a higher line model like a Turbo S or a Turbo or a GTS, you could save $70,000 to $80,000 literally. Now, yes, I know it's been used. You say, Steve, what's the point? What's the analogy? You've already used, that's a used car. Yeah, but my point is, you're getting the same vehicle, of course, with a few more miles, a bit more wear and tear, for way, way less. Okay, so to me, I would rather wait a couple of years for these types of fragrances like John Varvatos and pick up a bottle. I can get a brand new bottle of original Varvatos for like literally between $25 and $30 US all day, every day. That's the full bottle, not the half size. And I just think it makes a lot more economic sense. This is not a creed. This is not I'm not even saying I pay full price for Creeds, but this is not Byredo. This is not Hermes. This is not uber highline perfume. Does that make it bad? Of course not. This is a wonderful fragrance for what it is. My point is, I don't want to pay more than what I feel this fragrance is worth. And to me, this is a budget frag. End of story. Now, if he does newer Les Parfums concentrations, we can talk all day about pricing and whether it's worth that much. And we all know that once a frag hits the market, it's going to cost whatever it costs because demand is high and it's the new sexiest thing in town. And people can't wait to get their grubby little fingers on it and smell it and spray it, yada, yada, yada. Okay, this is a throwback, right? This is a 2004. Let's just get down to it. What is so hot about this? Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, or just the positives, the pros and the cons, and then the negatives. For me, positives are quite simple. You're going to get leather. You're going to get lime. You're going to get quite a dose of fig, which I agree with Mark. I'm starting to really deeply appreciate. When I first got into the game, I wasn't a fig lover. I didn't understand the note of fig in terms of I love eating real figs and fig Newtons, but I didn't understand it in men's fragrances. It seemed a little off-putting, a little bit bizarre, or a little bit oddball. But the more I've gotten into fragrances, I realized that little sweet, dark, berry, caramel-like tinge that good fig has, that fig fruit, then you get that fig leaf note coming in, is along with the plum. Don't forget this has plum, gives it a slightly dark, resinous berry type. And then with that little accord, that little hit of leather, cedar, and sandalwood, dirtying it up in a pleasant way with clary sage and the coriander. And don't forget, this has a little bit of pepper, a little bit of cinnamon, just enough to detect. Quite a bit of lime. I really, really enjoy the lime of this opening. Not so much giving it a barbershop frag. It just smells more like something out of the islands, somewhere down in the tropics somewhere, or somewhere maybe in Spain, somewhere in the Middle East, however you want to conjure that up in your mind. I believe this was voted on Fragrantica as also having amber and tamarind or tamarindo. And I believe, it could. This really could have tamarind in it, or maybe that's just an effect of those other accords that we talked about, giving a tamarind-like nuance. So, again, the good, you get a pretty exotic blend of notes. I think this smells excellent. I think you could dress this up all day or dress it down. You could go casual. You could go cardigan, suit, tie, a date night, whatever. I don't think this is necessarily the greatest club scent. And this brings me to my two next negatives. And there's about three. They're not major, but you need to be aware of them just so that you can be informed whether or not you want to make this purchase. So related to why this is not a good club scent, although you could, I'm not saying you absolutely can't do what you want by all means. Number one, it doesn't have the performance necessary for clubbing. This does not have great sillage after it goes into the dry down stage. Doesn't have great projection. And it doesn't have, lastly, and most importantly, for a club scent, doesn't have great longevity. And Mark, from Mark Robes 08, love you, Mark. Big shout out to Canada, our Canuck brothers and sisters. The longevity here is not that great. I only really got about 2 hours of active projection, maybe middling into a third, where it became much more of a very modest scent bubble. And I do mean a very tiny bubble, like somewhere between an inch and at the outer limit, 2 inches off the skin, if that. And after about another 2 to 3 hours, it really, really became nothing more than a skin scent. Now, I know if you just go to town, especially on your clothing, you can obviously extend some of the range and projection and longevity, but not by as much as you would think. So just be cognizant going into the purchase that if you don't mind re-spritzing or respraying, no problems. That's fine. So with that in mind, at $20 to $30 a bottle for the big full size, 40 outer limit, I think this is a lot of bang for the buck. I really, really do think this is a tremendous value proposition. I like the smell. I think it smells nuanced, sexy, a little bit noir, almost smoky without actual smoke, like an abstract picture of something being smoky with all these dark notes playing on each other. Like you've got the pepper, the woods, the cinnamon, the leather, the two fig notes, the coriander, the clary sage. Again, there may be some amber in here, giving it just a little hint of some resinous, dark honey-like vibe. I think this is a really good scent, approaching niche, but on a shoestring budget, right? It's definitely more synthetic. Again, synthetic does not always mean cheaper. There's a lot of synthetics out there used by like the House of Chanel, Hermes, Dior Homme that are very, very expensive. That cost many, many times more than their organic counterparts. So synthetic in and of itself means nothing as far as dollars are concerned. But too often we in the frag community and fragcom, we believe that the word synthetic is always like a stab to the heart. Oh, you're saying it's cheap. Bro, wow, it smells synthetic. It smells cheap. I'm not saying that. I'm just simply saying it does not smell as organic or as natural as like a Creed or Byredo or Hermes, even some of the better Issey Miyake stuff. But I think this smells really, really good. And I hate to use this word in air quotes for what it is, right? Is this Creed in a bottle? Hell to the no. But it's really quite good for what it is. It's quite pleasant, quite masculine. I don't think this is a lady's scent at all. And I think this is a very versatile scent. I think you could dress it up, dress it down. Again, not the ultimate club frag, but other than that, I find it highly versatile. Again, you're going to want to take a decant travel size or just the whole full bottle. If you need something to last 8 to 12 hours, you're going to have to reapply. But again, at $20 to $30 a bottle, or even $40, if you go all out and spend extra that you don't have to, that's not a lot of money for a really good, long-lasting bottle of juice. So that's going to conclude my little 2 cents on the John Varvatos original, which dropped again in 2004. Nose on this again was Rodrigo Flores Rue. And let's just take a quick look at some of his lineup. I'm not going to nearly mention them all. Don't have time nor interest. Do I see anything that stands out? He's done a lot for the really, really cool house of Artiste and Alfred and Hoff, and some Avon stuff, some Badgley Mishka, couple for Brooks Brothers, a Britney Spears. Calvin Klein, he did Reveal Men, which has gotten some good reviews and some not so hot. He did CK Free way back in 2009. Reveal Men is much more recent. That dropped in 2015. For the really fairly expensive house of Corner Barcelona, he did Sweet William. That dropped very, very recently, 2017. That is a unisex. He did the female, sort of, it looks like Bulgaria Aqua bottles, the Cheruti 1881. That one's a see-through red type look, like, I don't know, slightly aquatic ruby or something. Some Clinique, some Leather by Commodity. That's a cool house. A bunch of Dolce Gabbanas. He did, for example, Velvet Wood, Vetiver, Patchouli, Sublime, Velvet Love, and Desire. Those last two, respectively, Love and Desire, are female only. All of the others were unisex. Donna Karan, he did Black Cashmere, Karan Gold, Essence Wengi, and Essence Labdanum. And I wish those also had male counterparts, They're female, but who knows? They might smell okay enough to wear for a man. I don't know. And for House of Frasai, he did Verano Porteño and A Fuego Lento. Those are both unisex, really good looking bottles. Very, very intriguing. I keep saying I want to review that line. I'll get around to it, God willing, eventually. And he did that beautiful throwback bottle by Gap, established 1969 for men back in 2012. I think that was fairly well received. Some didn't like it. Ubigant, Fougère Royale, pretty well received back in 2010. Now, for Varvatos, he's done a ton of their lineup. I think he's done the bulk of most of them. Yeah. Wow. Wow, he's done all of their, as far as I can tell. Yeah, he's done their entire line. That's incredible. Wow. I did not know that. Wow. Learned something new nearly every day. And he's done some Juicy Couture, Kate Spade, Kenneth Cole, Kylie Minogue, Le Galion. Those are good, very good looking bottles. Those are unisex except for one. Those include Cologne, Cologne Nocturne, and then for the ladies, L'Empedieu. Did Lulu Guinness, cute little kitschy line, or at least that bottle is Lulu Guinness. Maria Christophilus. Those look expensive. Nest Wisteria Blue, that looks also not inexpensive. And Santi Burgas, beautiful bottles. Things like Palindrome, Torella di Montegri, New York City, Aroma de Hormiguero, 6 Cents, really cool, artisanal, playful looking line. Tom Ford, quite a few, including Neroli Portofino, Flor de Chine, or the Sheen, Jasmine Rouge, and Portofino Aqua, some Hilfiger, True Religion, Xenu. Okay, that's going to cut it. I've gone way over my time limit. I will see you next time, guys. Peace out. Love you. Spray often, spray well, and live life on your terms. Booyah.